Hi, this is Victoria Pendragon, sans makeup, because it's too hot. It's too hot for clothes, so it's too hot for makeup. You're just lucky I'm wearing clothes. Sun's just over there. You'll probably hear some thunder in the background. This is my alternate reality. And I'm sitting outside because it's frankly too hot to be inside. We don't have air conditioning here in the mountains. So I wanted to talk about a story that took place during the winter, just for balance. When, in 1990, I was looking for a place to live and was having bad luck finding anything good, and heard about a little townhouse in Medford, New Jersey that looked decent. Went over, met the real estate agent there, and when we came to the house, I saw right by the door, to the left of the door and low, a scraggly, awful-looking little rhododendron. It was clearly a rhododendron, but also clearly in very bad shape. And I thought to myself, this is not auspicious. This is a bad-looking tree. But I went in, and I liked the space, and the cost was affordable. And we left the space. The real estate agent went away. I just sat in my car, which was parked right in front of the door. And I thought about that little bush. And I had my hands on the steering wheel of the car. And I glanced at my hands, and I glanced at the tree, and I glanced at my hands. And I thought, you know what? This is the space for me. My hands, bent and even more crippled than they are right now, reminded me of the tree. So I thought, I'll come here and we'll heal together. And so immediately I began caring for the tree. I began giving it fertilizer. I pruned off branches that were dead at the ends and things like that. And I guess by about 3 years later, it started to be pretty healthy. It got more leaves on it, so all its poor little branches were not exposed, and it actually put out a blossom or two. By another couple of years, it was probably about 5 feet tall, and gorgeous, filled that spring with buds just everywhere, covered with leaves. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I was so thrilled. She bloomed. Oh, it was spectacular. And I wonder if I have pictures somewhere. I don't recall. But I was just so gratified. And of course, all during these 5 years, too, I'd been healing, and my hands were getting a little more mobile. And that was nice. Well, the following spring, early spring, so she was just starting to bloom. I'm a good gardener, and the bush was right near the door, but I'm very aware, both from feng shui terms and just simple aesthetics, that you don't have a bush that's going to overgrow your door so you can't see. So I had kept it trimmed back nicely. And I came home one day from being out, and the landlords had decimated the bush. Decimated it. It was the size it was when I had first seen it. And I suddenly understood how it had become the awful little specimen that I saw when I was there. And I broke into tears when I saw it. And started all over again. Just started all over again. And it was heartbreaking and it was disappointing. But again, by about 4 years later, she was back up to good size. And of course I harbored a great disappointment, and I wrote to the landlords and I said that I understood that they wanted to keep the tree a reasonable size, and I would do that, and I would take care of pruning it, and please, allow me to take care of it. And that winter, I had been out late, coming home, perhaps 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was one of those winter nights up in New Jersey when nothing is moving. Rather like now when nothing is moving, but you can hear the thunder. Something will be happening here soon. But, on this frigid night, it was just still and well below freezing. Well below freezing, and the moon was out. It was a gorgeous night. And when we came home, I was thinking to myself about how beautiful this bush was going to be in the coming spring when it got blossoms again. And I stood there. My then husband, Dodd, was still in the car packing things to bring them in the house or something. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I stood there in front of my friend, this bush that I cared for and brought back to life twice. And I put my hands together, like you might, sort of in a prayer-like fashion, and I thanked her for trying and for getting there and for healing and coming around. And I was just so grateful in this still, moonlit night, overwhelmed with love, really. And all of a sudden, there was this rattling sound. I can't hope to imitate it. It was very gentle, like bamboo chimes might make if you rattled them. And it was the bush. There was no wind. There was nothing. But she was just quivering, and her leaves, frozen, were rattling against each other. It was the most wonderful exchange. I've talked to trees and plants and things all my life, knowing the life that's in them. And certainly when I was a child, the trees talked to me, but when I was a child, the trees talked to me. Now I was an adult and very much in my body, and this tree found a way to communicate its feelings back to me. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful thing. 2 years later, when we moved out, it was sad to say farewell, and I hope she's doing well. Life is pretty amazing, I think, and the things that can happen that are unexplainable and wonderful are many. And I wish for you that you get to experience life in a way that is tender and moving and wonderful, as I have. Thanks for listening, and I think I'll scoot. Bye-bye.